Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to share you how to create something like this. You might have seen Kinetic sculpture that's looking a little bit more or less like this. So Control Option Spacebar. This one is pretty simple. You might look at the notes and okay, you can already guess. Okay, there are two parts, and the setup is actually simply using the circular array from Johnny Matthews. So if you go to Johnny Gizmo at GitHub, you can get all these nodes group, and circular array is basically allowing you to create like a circular array, you know, like duplication of circular object. There are two objects if I get rid of one. So it's basically like this. One of them is rotating, and this one is actually with offset as well, so which is really interesting. Let's take a look at one of them that's not moving. Okay, so they are both rotating in the opposite ways. So there is one that's rotating, it's using the scene time and rotating in negative value, and the other one is rotating in positive value, and they both has pretty much the same vertices. I have like 17 duplicates, but I can increase and decrease it. So that's basically the secret. Circular array, and there's something coming in. Curve line. All right, so I need to explain this curve line. Let me think how to explain this. Okay, curve line have a start and end positions, and I'm using this curve and resample it and then set the position with offset based on the wave texture. So this might be a little bit weird that I'm using a wave texture in the axis, and I'm basically disturbing the line in the y direction, so we get this wave. This is like a quick and easy way to get a wave. You might find a better way to do this, but this is just one example. And then I simply we can, because this is geometry nodes, it's not like a real objects, and you cannot in real life you cannot make kinetic you cannot bend the metal this way, but in geometry nodes of course you can do this using frame number multiplied by a value. So this is offsetting our wave texture procedural nodes, and then the output can kind of create this kind of motions. So if we combine both of them, we get something that's a little bit more complicated. If you kind of set up correctly, you get like this moire pattern or something. I forgot what it's called. It's kind of like moire, but it's I think it's a little bit more. It's just two like a sine wave pattern rotating in the different way. I think it's two patterns rotating in the opposite ways, and then this two pattern is creating this kind of illusions. I think it's kind of beautiful. It's quite hypnotizing as well. Okay, by the way, yeah, this is of course this Johnny's circular array. You can play around with the radius. I have one example where it is simpler, but it's creating the moire pattern, right? This is very much what I want to show you. The pattern is simple, even if you didn't offset the wave texture. So you can offset it. You can play around with this value, so it can totally the same. It looks totally the same. But if you kind of offset it, so it's like sine wave meet cosine wave, you get this moire pattern. It's really weird. It's kind of like a little bit like water. So you can increase this maybe 35 and 35. So you have this really unusual look from both of this circular array. Yeah, this one doesn't look like, but if you play around with the offset, suddenly when you reach a certain pattern, you get this strange hypnotizing moire pattern. So you can play around with this as well, with the position of this circular array, so they're not overlapping. And if you want, you can also scale the instance, because the joining group also allow you to modify the thickness, so it's a little bit flattened like that. If you want to actually print it out and create like a mechanical design based on this, you have to check whether this is actually copyrighted, however, because someone already did something really similar. Okay, so play around with the resample, curve resample, and then also play around with this curve line and the wave. Actually, there's this wave. Scale the wave until it looks correct, and then you can duplicate it for the other guy. So I started with this one, and then I duplicate it, so it's keeping the same exact design for pattern, and then so you can offset it later to get the pattern of the moire. Some of this pattern will give you that exactly that. All right, so that's basically it. Again, it's really simple. Just circular array, and then you create this wavy pattern, and then you create duplicates based on the circular array, and then you rotate it in the directions that you want. Transform, and the rest of them is just, you know, like curve mesh, join geometry, give material. This rotation is really important because one of them rotating in one way, the other one is rotating in the opposite directions, and this gives you the moire pattern. And play with the offset as well if you want to do this, you know, like kind of like a snake type of wave, so you can really hypnotize yourself this way. All right, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.